Hello, my friend. Welcome in. Welcome back. It is so lovely to have you here with me today in this Pick a Card Tarot reading where we are going to be looking at the spirit of your business. We'll look at the current essence and look at what it wants to be, what it needs from you in order to get it there, and what you might need to release or embrace in order to overcome any challenges that you might be experiencing, as well as actionable next steps that you might consider for the journey ahead. Now, if this interests you, if this reading theme or topic interests you, and you'd like to dive a little deeper into your personal situation and take a look at the spirit of your particular business, I am opening up 5 spots at an introductory price for the month of July. Once those are all sold out, that will be it for July. This reading is perfect for soul-led businesses and conscious creatives that are looking to add more depth and meaning to their business and their business journey. If that doesn't interest you, then hopefully this free general reading will help give you insight on how to bring your business vision to life even more, or even offer some actionable steps that you can possibly consider or take in order to overcome any challenges that you might be facing at this time. But do remember that these readings are general, so they may not resonate with everyone, and they are here to offer you insight, not instruction. So please use your discernment and intuition to navigate your business and your situation as you see fit. Take what resonates and ignore what does not. If you are ready to jump in, the timestamps are in the description box, along with the link to book your personal reading or anything else you'd like to know about me, the cards that I'm using today, and anything else that might be of interest to you. Comment and like the video if your reading resonates, or if you like this video topic or theme. It helps me connect with your energy and lets me know that you are enjoying the content here on my channel. So I have randomly chosen 3 crystals to help you choose the reading that might resonate with you. So if you are still here and would like an intro to each one of the readings, let me do that right now. For reading number 1, we have the purpurite stone. For reading number 2, we have the red agate stone. And for reading number 3, we have the aquamarine stone. When you are ready, use your intuition to choose the reading pile that is calling to you the most. Then click on the timestamp in the description box to hop straight into your reading, and we'll see you over there. Hello, reading 1. Welcome into your reading. You chose the purpurite stone. So I'm just getting some spiritual wellness or some kind of spiritual clarity, spiritual wellness, maybe some psychic businesses here. Maybe, but also maybe not. We'll see what the cards have to say. We're just going to get an opening card to maybe tap into your business in general. For reading number 1, please. Business for reading number 1. Okay, foundations and community. With the founder card. So definitely somebody that has possibly built up some kind of community or wants to build up some kind of community. And I feel like you're in the midst of building foundations. You are in the midst of possibly building community. It's not giving me too much about the business type, and I think that's okay given that this is a general reading. But this also confirms that we are speaking to soul-led business owners, founders. So let's get straight into your tarot reading today. For reading number 1, please, with the founder card. Let's tap into their business energies. Let's get a current essence of reading one's business. You got 2, that's okay. 2 of Cups in reverse and the Hermit in reverse. So your current business essence feels to me like there's a little bit of imbalance. And I'm not sure if that's between 2 business partners or something within yourself where there's certain energies that feel misaligned. So you might not feel as connected to the business as you once did. There could also be an imbalance of divine masculine and divine feminine, where you have allowed something for too long or have taken too much action somewhere and haven't had that space to really be and to receive. But overall, I think there is a call to share your wisdom here or align your business to your spiritual values. This may be something that you have gone through yourself, so it's like you are providing your wisdom, your experience to people who are looking to follow that same journey. So it's almost like you have led a community, or you are leading people along that journey because of your personal experience. So what does this business want to be? Okay. 2 of Pentacles in reverse with the Hierophant. Another 2 here, but it is a pentacle and it is also in reverse as well. So again, I'm getting a lot of balancing, and I feel like it's not just about the relationship, although I feel that part is very important. I feel there's another aspect within either the actions or within how people spend their time, their energy, their money. So there's a more grounded approach, or there's a more realistic approach rather than something of the emotions. So it's almost like a pairing between the practical and the emotional. And this practical side might be the thing that wants to come through more, because that's going to help give this program, this community, a structure. Because in the 2 of Cups, while that's lovely, cups and water can be very fluid and can be very unpredictable. So it's almost like either the business itself needs a little more structure, a little more rhythm, a little more routine, or what you're offering within the business needs to have some kind of practical element to it rather than simply emotional. So this could be programs that you implement, structures. I'm also seeing like a week 1, week 2, week 3. So there's like a workshop. There is a teaching, some kind of teaching. Maybe it's certain events or something, so that people have either something to look forward to for that structure and for that learning, for that teaching, and something that they can really help balance the emotional aspect of what it is you're offering. And I think it is a new offering just because I saw the Page of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. So I don't think it's something that you might currently be considering it. So this might be a confirmation that programs or workshops or events to help people find that balance in a practical sense, like what does that look like, could be confirmation for some of you. So what does it need from you? Yeah, it's so funny. More foundation energy here. So it's like, even though this might be a little bit of a question mark for you of like, this is something I've been considering, but I don't know how to implement it, that's okay. It's not about having everything in place and knowing everything. This almost feels very similar to what I'm doing, where I don't know if this is necessarily what people want or need, but I'm gonna lead by example. I'm gonna showcase what I can offer with this tarot reading and the introductory rate and the limited spots, so that I can test things. And so that's kind of what I'm feeling with this, is that it's not about seeing the entire path, and that could be part of why you might not be implementing it right now is because you can't see what the full picture looks like yet. You only have an inkling of an idea, or you only have kind of a consideration in your mind right now. So what it needs from you is to be comfortable in the discomfort of not knowing, but walk the path anyway, one practical step at a time, and to also build the foundations of what you're doing first. So if you have already a foundation, a community, it's interesting because we have the foundations card here, and that's what it's asking of you here. The business wants a little more of a structure. And we have structure cards here as well, or both here are structure cards. The Hierophant is the traditions, the routines, the structures to kind of keep us, I don't want to say in line, but keep us on track. And the Four of Wands is this community coming together to help build the foundations. So that's why I say that this may not be something that you do on your own. And this may be something that the community helps build as well. So maybe tapping into your community might help, and really looking at your past wins, looking at the wins that you have already achieved, what's working for you at the moment, and how can you expand or evolve those offerings, even if you don't really know where it's going to take you or whether or not you succeed or not. It's kind of this feeling of, I'm not going to offer something or proceed with something until I know everything, when I think that the path to knowing, the path to understanding, the path to find those answers is going to be along the journey, not something that shows up and you follow it. You create the path as you go. You create the destination as you walk it. And that is the destination, or the offering is going to evolve along the way. And it's also going to become something over a period of time. As you evolve, as you adapt, as you make adjustments. And the only way to do that and to figure out if something's going to work is if you start walking that path. Now, evaluation might be quite necessary along this journey so that you can, again, pare back. And that might be something for your current experience, is to let go of the things that aren't quite working at this time and maybe not an interest. What is your community saying to you right now? What is it that they need? That might be something that you have to evaluate and step back doing, rather than pushing full speed ahead. I feel like there's some foundational elements that need to come into play before you can move forward. But I don't think you should wait for all of the answers and everything laid out in front of you to start taking action. I think it's having a good enough idea of where you'd like to go, putting something together, releasing it, offering it, seeing what happens. So what do you need to release or embrace? Yeah, Six of Swords in reverse and the Ace of Cups. So this is kind of twofold for me. I feel like you need to release perfectionism, for one. I also think you need to release the idea that you can't move on from something. There's like a loyalty coming through with the Six of Swords. And there's like, I have to try again, or I have to go over something or review something. Be careful of overthinking or reviewing something too much, because it will stagnate you. This also may be some thought patterns or thought processes that need to be let go of, because if you are feeling stuck, I feel like there's a story you might be telling yourself that needs to be released in order to see progress or movement. The Six of Swords in the upright is this energy of movement, is this energy of having a mindset shift, which creates movement, which creates a letting go process to occur. Now, this person is not in this plane alone. The movement is happening by somebody who knows how to drive the bus or drive the plane. So you could require assistance here in order to move forward, in order to see progress. That might be tapping into somebody who's done this before, or a coach, or maybe a colleague that you can kind of get a feel for what you might need to do in order to see progress or movement in some area of the business. And what to embrace, I feel, is that it's okay to move on from something that's not working and to open yourself up to maybe a new way of feeling about something, opening yourself up to the possibilities and maybe cleaning the slate to some regard. Because we're talking about letting go, we're also talking about opening up as well. So there is a vulnerability that is going to come with this release. And I think you need to be okay with that vulnerability. That also could be tied in with the moon here, where this vulnerability is necessary and this stepping into discomfort is necessary in order for you to see growth, see progress, and possibly go where you need to. Now, 10 of Wands in reverse, this also makes me feel like there's a lot of burdens, a lot of things, responsibilities, tasks, to-dos that aren't necessarily important that you might be hanging on to. So those things might need to be evaluated as well and prioritized and organized so that you can free up some energy and time to really focus on what's next rather than trying to keep things together that aren't necessarily working, or keep things going that aren't necessarily working and that may be holding you back. I'm actually seeing an anchor here in my mind's eye because that's what it feels like. And if we're thinking about an anchor on a boat, and a boat, turns on the motor, they just go around in circles. But as soon as that anchor lifts, they're able to move in the direction that they want to go. So that's the visual that's coming to mind that may or may not resonate. So next steps, please. What are the next steps for reading 1, please? I'm seeing the Sun card in my mind's eye. Yes, okay. Yeah, I mean, it's very similar messages to what we talked about. I believe we did talk about, did we talk about perfection? I'm not really sure. Maybe we did. Could be here. I can't remember where I talked about perfection. I think I did. But this is the perfectionist card. This is like doing something over and over and over again until you get something right. That could be the reason for the stagnancy here. That could be the reason for not moving forward on an offering or a service. I think your business wants to evolve. And I think your business wants to do bigger things. Your business wants to change in some way. And I can't get specific as to what, but I do believe that with the Wheel of Fortune in reverse and the Judgment in reverse, it's definitely wanting you to rise above the current challenges and see the bigger picture. There's also this energy of staying grounded when things do change, because I feel things will change. As soon as you start adjusting and tweaking and making changes, you may lose some audience members or some clients, and that's okay because you are going to welcome new ones that are aligned with this new expansion, with this new offering. So move with the changes, be very flexible at this time, and there's a call to ground yourself and really prioritize the things that you can and cannot control. Because the Wheel of Fortune can be a turn, and if we're not in the center of that wheel, then there's a slight possibility that we can fumble, we can fall, we can get thrown off track and get distracted by what's happening in the external. So there's almost a question coming through of tapping into your why here, of what it needs from you. You have to really get clear if you're not clear on your why and the value that you bring to your clients, your customers, and possibly your community. And that could help with those foundations. I do have a PDF that you are welcome to download for free if you sign up to my newsletter, which helps you work through your whys, your purpose, your vision, your mission, etc., so that you have something to build that structure upon. And it also acts as a reminder for you when it comes to making business decisions, so that you can continually come back to that why. This is why I'm doing it. Is this decision aligned with that? Yes, no. And it really gives you a less emotional approach to business. And the Judgment in reverse here. There's definitely some big changes that will occur in your business, or I think there are big changes that need to occur in your business. Because the Judgment card is not only 2 10s, because it is a number 20. So again, that call of expansion. The Wheel of Fortune is also connected to Jupiter energy, which is expansion and growth. Seeing something in a larger perspective, a larger view. And then the Judgment is this energy of needing to release, to expand, to move on from something. So in a traditional reading, this can be about forgiving oneself so that you can release the tie to that experience or to that thing, so that you can move on and overcome any adversity that this experience has offered. So this could be a big deal for you personally, but I also feel it could be a big deal for your business as well. And this is about really releasing the ties from the past of what's not working. And it could have been quite you could have gone through quite some challenges to get your business here. So there could be this fear of letting go. There could be an emotional attachment to the things that are no longer working, because this is what you've built your business on. So if I let that go, then what? And again, I feel that questioning coming back here with the moon and what it needs from you. I feel that that's going to be a huge part of this journey for you. And really stepping into questioning the big things. Am I aligned with my purpose? What kind of value am I offering? What kind of foundations do I have in place or not to help build this business in the way that I envision it to be, in its biggest expression or in its most valuable expression as it relates to you and or your community that you're serving. So big energies here to close out your reading as next steps. Really consider what needs to change and feeling grounded in those changes, but feeling grounded when those changes occur, remembering your why. And then with the Judgment card in reverse, this is overcoming the adversity by letting go and releasing what is no longer serving, what's no longer working, what has crashed and burned that can no longer be salvaged, and to move towards your higher calling. There is a higher purpose that you are meant to follow here with this business. And I think you know that already, or you wouldn't be here. So what is that higher calling? What is that higher purpose? What is that why? That is the biggest message that I'm getting from that. And how can you give that why, that purpose, structure, and form in order to move it forward without worrying too much about it being perfect before it is expressed, before it is released, before it is created? Let's get a final couple of cards to end your reading. Send you on your way for reading 1, please. Final messages from their business. Final messages. Okay. So you have choosing your path and fogged in. I don't see a ton of foggy energy, but I do see a pretty big foggy energy. So it's this moon here that is at the heart of your reading, along with this foundations, which I think is going to be a huge focus for you, or needs to be a huge focus. Asking the bigger questions is going to help you choose your path, and you don't want to go fast. You do want to take your time, you do want to pace yourself, but not so much where you get stuck and you never choose. because things aren't perfect. Conditions aren't perfect. I don't know enough. There's some doubts that might be coming in. There's some storylines that you might be telling yourself with the Six of Swords. But I really feel like you are facing a new path in your business here. And you are building something that is a little unknown. And for soul-led businesses, there is no guidebook usually. There is no how-to guide. Following your unique intuitive path is going to make you feel foggy, but that doesn't mean it's wrong. If it's coming from the heart with this Ace of Cups, then just as long as those decisions and those choices are aligned with what you're intuitively being called to towards that higher purpose, then you have to trust that. Trust that you're being guided in the right direction and that you will find your way through the fog eventually. Things will become more clear. But I really see with this very armored person, you're ready for it. You're ready to take action. It's just a matter of assessing the grounds to figure out what's next, to choose the path that you feel most aligned taking. And that will take time. I don't think it's going to happen overnight. It may not even happen in the next month or 2 months or 6 months or even year. This might be a slow and progressive expansion or growth or restructure. So do go easy on yourself and don't be fearful of asking the hard questions, and don't be fearful of not being able to see the light quite yet. I believe the light is coming, but it will only show up if you start taking those aligned steps in the direction that your heart is calling you to take. So this is what I have for you, reading number 1. I hope you got something out of this reading today. If you did, feel free to comment and let me know. And if you're interested in a personal, more specific reading to your business, the link to book one is in the description box. Until we meet again, stay curious, and I'll see you soon. Hello, reading 2. Welcome in. Welcome in. You chose the red agate stone, and we will get an opening card to start your reading. Just get a feel for what's going on with your business, or what kind of business you are. We will see. For reading 2, you have the Hunter, sure-footedness and predestination. To me, this really feels like you're a bit of a go-getter. I feel like you really know what you want. Maybe you have some clarity about where your business wants to go, where you want to take it, but are maybe unsure about how to get there. So I do feel, as hunters, there is a sure-footedness. There is a clarity, or at least a confidence in finding your prey, hunting for that prey and being really good at hunting it, or shooting a bow and arrow, for example. There's something about you really targeting something, a lot of manifestation energy coming in. And with this red agate stone, this speaks to me of Aries energy, where it's very initiatory, very sure, very focused, and very lots of fire behind the decisions. So it's like you don't let anything stop you in your tracks to getting to where you want to go. And I feel it's a very grounded energy too. So it's not like you're firing in a whole bunch of different directions. I feel you do have one specific direction that you are going. And it's just interesting, if there's such a clarity and such an ambition here, what's going on? Reading 2. Let's take a look. Let's take a look for reading 2. Now, this could be an aspiration or something that where you would like to be, or would like the business to be. Maybe you'd like to have a clear target, or clear destination. Let's get the essence. Let's start with the essence, the current energy of the business. Too many. One more. Yeah, there's a lack of confidence here. That's so interesting. I was wondering, why you were here, if you were so sure about your direction and you had such ambition. I do believe you do have ambition. I believe you do have confidence. But there is not a lack of confidence, but a lack of trust in your ability to possibly follow a path. Maybe you haven't started a business yet, or maybe you're just in the initial stages of a business. And there's something that you would like to express, that you would like to share, that you would like to be vulnerable with, but there's a hesitation. There could also be a fear or a suppression of your fullest expression here, or the business's fullest expression. Why? I don't know. Let's get into more detail. What does your business want to be? 2 of Pentacles, 1 more, and 5 of Wands. The Hierophant at the bottom of the deck. I feel like your business wants to have stability through adversity, through change, through challenge. That could be challenge from other people, that could be challenge from within. But there's something about moving forward anyway and maintaining that momentum. There's also a practicality to the 2 of Pentacles of really prioritizing your time, energy, and possibly monetary investments within the business. So again, I mentioned that, as a hunter, to be a successful hunter, you have to be very targeted. And here I'm getting that there could be potential for some scattered energies, because your business wants to be more focused on maybe 1 or 2 things, and to put all of your energy into those 1 or 2 things to move it forward, rather than maybe trying to do too much all at once. And that could be playing a part in this energy too, where there's a lot to maybe express or share, and maybe too many outlets, too many things to share, maybe a lack of focus. It's almost like when we think of cups that have fallen over, you can't, like, the water just goes everywhere. It's very fluid and flexible. There's no way to kind of contain it when the cup has fallen over. So it's almost like your business wants to have a little more structure, or at least a little more focus, so that you can really fight through or compete with maybe other things that are calling your attention, or maybe compete against people in the industry. If you are I'm almost getting niching down, where instead of doing 5 or 6 things, you niche down to 2 or 1, and that will possibly gain you the momentum. And look at the things that are being done differently, because I feel your business wants you to do things a little bit differently, to challenge the status quo a little. So look to those areas where you can be really unique in your offerings or whatever you are selling. So what does your business need from you in order to... We have the 4 of Cups in reverse and the Page of Swords in reverse. Bottom of the deck, King of Wands. Yeah, you don't see how great you are at business. And maybe that will come in time, but I think you're not giving enough credit to your vision here. And maybe that's why I'm feeling such a scattered energy and lack of focus, is because you feel you need to say, this is all that I am. And that gives me value, because I either know all of this stuff, or I can do all of this stuff, or have all of these skill sets. I'm getting Jack of all trades, when I think your magic lies in doing what really fills your cup up, and your vision, your unique creative vision. And I don't think it's something that you can learn. It is just you as a person, as a business owner. So there's a trust that you need to have in that. Trust in your skill set. Trust in your unique offerings. Trust in your bigger vision. Trust in yourself that you can help bring that to the surface. And what it needs from you at this time is for you to release the emotional connections to all of the things right now that are not working, that are not feeling satisfactory, that are making you feel bored. I feel like there's some things that you're doing right now that you're doing them because you feel you should. Your business wants you to let those go. And of course, if you are needing a certain aspect of your business to make money, do the thing that you need to do to put food on the table and keep your bills paid and keep the business going. But don't forget about the new opportunity that wants to come through. And I think you might be starting to see that, with this cup on the shelf here. So look to the opportunities to pour your energy and your heart into those one or two things. Dabble in, or not dabble in, put your focus to the things that are most priority, yes, but don't forget to switch gears at some point during the day, or maybe work on it in the evening so that you can eventually bridge that gap and let go of the things that aren't fulfilling or aren't working for you. Now, I don't think you'll need to learn anything new. There could be something you need to learn, but with the Page of Swords in reverse, that typically means that you feel like you don't know enough, that you don't have enough skills. So you have to keep learning and watching YouTube videos and going to workshops and events, and I'm not enough. So that's kind of the feeling that I was getting here. So don't feel like unless you're being called to learn something new for a very specific purpose or a very specific offering, I feel like you can use what you have at your disposal, all of your resources, to be able to make some kind of shift here. So let's look at what to release or embrace. I saw the Tower flip out, but it wasn't quite ready, wasn't quite strong enough. But there could be some pretty big deals that need to be, there's some foundations that are being restructured here. And foundations with the Emperor, that is, yeah. What needs to be released, I think, is this idea that you don't have value unless you know enough, or have enough, or do enough, or share enough, or offer enough. I think, yeah, the Emperor is the ruler of all four kings. So you have everything that you need to build an empire, to really lead people. I feel like there's a huge leadership that you're not seeing right now because you're not seeing your self-worth. And your business wants you to release this false idea that you can't lead people, that you can't lead the business, that you need to offer more. I keep coming back to that more energy, but you don't need it. You have it. You just have to have the confidence and the vulnerability to be able to express it. And that might feel a little uncomfortable, but that is how confidence is built, is through action. That is how businesses are built, through action. Because we learn. We move forward, we fall, we learn, we reset, we try again in a new way based on what we've learned. And if you are not charging properly, I think there could be some evaluation that needs to be done there, is to release offerings that are not reflecting your value and what you offer. Now, there's also this need to embrace your community, to really lean on them to get honest feedback, but also any kind of colleagues, business colleagues, friends even, to build that confidence in your abilities, to even help you see what you can't see in yourself and in your business. They could have some pretty good insights there. And I think they are going to be very uplifting for you as well. So embrace the people around you, the networks, the social networks, the business networks, to be able to really see your leadership and maybe learn something from them, but maybe get some feedback from them. And to release this idea that you can't build this business of your dreams, that you don't need to suppress it. You just need to step towards it. Next steps and possible outcome here. We saw that card a few minutes ago. So we have the Six of Wands in the upright and the Four of Pentacles in reverse. It's lovely. With the King of Swords, see? You know. That is the king. The King of Swords knows. And the King of Swords is very confident is in their decision making. It's also, they are leaders. They are teachers. They are guides. They use what they've learned to teach others. So that could be an aspect of your business that you actually don't see. You started with the Page of Cups in reverse. It's almost like you feel you're too sensitive, or you're too emotional, or you're too something to run this business, to grow this business, to expand this business. But you're the King of Swords. You don't even know it. The king also trusts in themselves, trusts in their decision making, trusts what they've learned and what they know to be true, acting upon that and not doubting that. So the Six of Wands and the Four of Pentacles in reverse is sort of your next steps. I want you to celebrate all of your successes, big, small, tiny, massive. Whether you have to do that and have your friends or your colleagues show you, look at some of the things that you have done in your past. Look at your reviews. Look at the things you've offered that went well. And if you don't have a lot of those, I want you to celebrate the personal wins of, remember when I started a business. Remember when I put this out into the world. Those little things are achievements, even though you might not see results, even though you might not see 6 or 7 figures. Those tiny wins are going to be the things that lead up to the bigger wins and accumulate to become bigger wins. Four of Pentacles is release the grip on what you think the business could be, because I think the business could be much bigger or expansive or different than you perceive. Because right now, I think your perceptions are limited, possibly based on previous experiences. And I think there's a lot of success in this business that you're running, the business that you're shifting into or transitioning into. So it's about releasing your expectations, releasing this idea of maybe what it is now, and that's always what it's going to be. I think it's giving yourself the permission to do more, even though you don't necessarily have to do more or be more or learn more. It's giving yourself permission to think bigger, to invest in yourself. And what's interesting is that I'm just looking at the Five of Wands and the Six of Wands. Your business wants to overcome challenge. Your business wants to move through the changes. Your business wants to see momentum, and it's going to be that effort, that fight, that pushes you forward and creates that momentum. And then you have the Six of Wands, which is the card right after the Five. So this is victory after the war, essentially, after the fight. So I feel like if you can push through what you need to release and what you need to embrace, I really think that there's going to be a wonderful success on the other side of this. So let's get some final cards to end your reading. Discovering truth. You stand in the light of truth. So I do think that is you uncovering your truth and doing things differently as well. It's almost like I did see the Hierophant here at the bottom of the deck. And this is very Hierophant energy here in reverse. It's like these two people are kind of looking off onto the path that's already been built and created. There's a village, there's all kinds of things that they can see ahead of them. Whereas this person is moving in a completely different direction. And we don't really know what the path looks like. So it's almost like you have to trust in yourself to follow the path that feels truthful to you, not necessarily what's been laid out by others. You can learn from that, absolutely. But don't follow it to a T, because I think your path is going to be a lot different. And one more. Reading 2. Watching clouds. Well, that's fun. Lie back, rest, and relax. Now, what I get from that is a pacing yourself energy. This isn't something to rush. This isn't something that needs to be overcome in a day, in a week, in a month, in a year. This is something that is progressive, so you really have to pace yourself. And if you are struggling at this time, this might be a time to take a step back and to let your mind wander for a little bit, to reflect on some things within your business that is calling to you, that you feel isn't quite correct or aligned at this time. And how can you take practical action or steps to phase those things out and enter into something that feels more true, that feels more exciting or purposeful or more fulfilling? Maybe a rebuilding of confidence, and not thinking that you are too much of one thing and not enough of another, but really settling into the self-acceptance of where you are and having the confidence, the creativity, the courage to move forward and move beyond the things that you might be challenged by at this time, and kind of feeling all of those things and doing it anyway, pushing through and just seeing where it takes you, having that curiosity and trust in the process, trust in yourself, and taking the time to really contemplate things or to just step back and wander for a bit. So these are the messages I have for you, my dear reading 2. I do hope these were helpful. Let me know in the comments if they were. And if you're looking for a more personal reading for your business, you can book a spot using the link in the description box below. Until we meet again, stay curious, and I'll see you in your next reading. Hello, my reading 3. Welcome in. You chose the aquamarine stone. And we're going to hop in. We'll get an opening card to start your reading. And just see what your business is all about. Or just get some energy from your business to start. We're reading 3. So, I usually don't read these in reverse, but when they come out reverse, I listen. So we do have the gambler, loss, and risks. Now, I don't think you're in a gambling type of business, but I feel like there could be an adversity to risk because there is fear of loss. I don't know in what capacity. Could be very different for everybody. But there's this feeling of, I don't want to invest in something because I'm afraid of losing the money, as an example, general example. You could be a card reader. I don't know. You could be somebody who's in the gaming industry as well, but not necessarily the gambling industry. So we're just going to take that off the table. But yeah, I do feel like there's some fear of gambling or risk here. And with business, especially soul-led businesses, we have to be okay with taking some risk. That could be a risk of being seen. That could be a risk of something succeeding. It could also be a risk of failure as well. That is all part of this journey that I feel you have to be open to. because it will make your business stronger and it will make you stronger as a business owner. But let's just see what's going on here. Let's get the essence of your current business, energy of the current business. Okay, I do feel like risk is going to be a big part of your reading, but I don't want to get hooked on that quite yet. We have the Six of Swords in reverse and we have the Tower in reverse. I feel like your business is going through a restructure, or there is a call to restructure something within your business so that you can see progress or movement. When the Six of Swords is in reverse, this can indicate a stagnant energy. You may be moving through challenges at this time, which is preventing you from moving forward or seeing some kind of progress. But I feel it's either within the mind, there's some perspective shift that is happening, there is a change of mind that is happening that is creating some really challenging energy within the business right now. The Tower in reverse can be a conscious choice to do some restructuring or a conscious choice to make foundational changes, but it could also be a resistance to doing that. And that could be the reason why there has been a stagnancy or a lack of progress, is because something here needs to be restructured or reformed in order to see movement. The Six of Wands in reverse here can be an indication that there has been some failures in the past, or you are not seeing the successes that you have had in this business. You might be seeing this current experience as a failure, and that is the thing that needs to be thought of differently. But I feel there's a consistency coming through. It's like there's a little bit of, just a little bit of rigidity or stuckness or consistency. It's like something has to be done a little bit more, or a little bit more consistently, or there's some kind of, I'm not really sure what I'm trying to say here. Oh, interesting. Queen of Pentacles in reverse. I only take cards that fall out on the table. But that's interesting that she showed up. Queen of Pentacles in reverse. She's an energy of feeling really uncomfortable, not feeling good in the environment, not feeling stable. So that could be the reason why there's a fear of risk or gambling, or a fear of loss and a fear of not being able to move something forward, is because something is a little unstable right now. Could be the economy, but it could also be within your business. Things are really on shaky ground. So, yeah, that could be the energy that I was picking up that I couldn't quite articulate, but let's just see what it wants to be at this time. What does your business want to be in its fullest expression? Knight of Swords in reverse, and one more. Okay. I'm getting the sense that your business wants to be a luxury brand or something that is slower in its production. So I'm thinking like, instead of fast fashion, it's slow fashion. There's also a feeling of personal value, offering personal value. Now, I also feel that could be a suggestion for you, is that it wants to be something that not only supports you, but is aligned with your personal values and executed in a way that is very mindful. This feels like a very challenging energy. So let's see what the business needs in order for it to become its fullest expression. King of Wands in the upright. One more. And I did feel that. It was Queen of Swords. So I think boundaries. I want to take one that falls out on the table. Strongest. But Queen of Swords and King of Wands. It's very powerful energy here. Masculine and feminine energies. So the King of Wands is about having a larger vision, seeing the bigger picture. and also having help in executing that vision, so not doing everything on your own. So this could mean having support from other people that can do other aspects of the business that you're not quite knowledgeable with or skilled at. That might come in time, but it's about having that bigger picture vision, that bigger vision, and keeping that in mind, not looking at the small details of the here and now and feeling stuck in that, but aiming or moving towards that bigger picture. That might be really tough, but that's what the business needs in order for it to move towards its fullest expression, is creative leadership, and to have a vision and not allow the idea of something not existing being the reason to not do something, or to work towards having that vision come to life. And the Queen of Swords, just to touch on that a little bit, she is very clear. She knows her boundaries. She knows when to say yes, no. She is open to hearing other people's point of view and perspectives, but ultimately it comes down to her truth and trusting herself, setting healthy boundaries of, nope, this is not going to work. This doesn't feel logical to put my energy into, to put my thought into, to decide upon at this time, because there's a very clear direction. There's a very clear vision, and anything else falls to the wayside. So there's a focus that comes in with those two cards. And then we have the Page of Wands in reverse. Don't worry about making too many mistakes. Don't fear making mistakes. And also don't worry about having something be perfect before you move forward. So if you need security right now, find a way to create that security, because I think that's going to be first and foremost in helping you have that foundation to build the business on. Now, this could also be a very personal experience where you're not charging what you're worth, so raising your prices might be something. And really honoring what you've experienced, honoring your creativity. I feel like there's a lot of creativity here. But your perfectionism, or maybe lack of self-esteem or self-confidence, is getting in the way of that. So in order to step into this leadership, you must have the confidence in what you can offer, and what your values are. So that could be a very personal thing that might need to be explored, and that could be part of that foundation that needs to be resolved or removed, is that self-esteem, the self-confidence to charge what you need to in order to step into leadership. Now, this is also creatively leading others as well. So I'm thinking creative director, or maybe hosting some kind of workshop and teaching other creatives to do what you've done, or maybe teaching them something that you have skills in. So that's kind of what I'm getting. There's this mentorship thing happening, but for some reason, it's like you don't have the confidence or the clarity to feel into that. Maybe you're hesitating. Okay, what needs to be released or embraced? What needs to be released or embraced? Five of Wands in reverse. And Nine of Wands. There's a lot of fiery energy here with these four cards. And that's your will, your ambition, your desire, your vision, your goal, and the action and the intentional effort that you put in. So that's one thing that I'm feeling, is that your intentions have to be aligned with your actions and vice versa. If your intention is to creatively lead people, then your actions have to be aligned with that, even if there's a little bit of discomfort. Now, the Five of Wands in reverse, and the Nine of Wands in reverse, tells me that there's a fear that needs to be relieved or released. Maybe a fear of conflict, a fear of challenge, a fear of competition. You have to be, especially in a leadership role, you have to be okay putting yourself out there, sharing your vision, sharing your ideas, sharing your processes, and being okay with people having differing opinions, not seeing that as a personal insult. And if that's how it's meant to be or come across, then again, that Queen of Swords is coming through. You have to have those boundaries in place to understand that I don't know this person. This person may be a stranger on the internet. If they're not giving me constructive criticism, then I'm going to ignore them because it's not helpful. It's only meant to hurt me. So again, that Queen of Swords I feel is important. I should have kept her out on the table. Knight of Wands in reverse is kind of this energy of always having your guard up, and there's a healing that happens with the Knight of Wands when they're in reverse. They're not always looking for, they don't always have their backup. Knight of Wands in the upright is a wounded warrior. They've been through some stuff, so they've got their guards up. They're just waiting for the shoe to drop. So there's this anticipation of bad things going wrong. I think what needs to be released is this idea that bad things are going to happen when you step out into leadership, or when your business steps out in its fullest expression, or when you help your business step out in its fullest expression. And so you have to release that fear and also embrace being seen, embrace success, embrace finding community that will align with what you're doing here. Next steps, possible outcome here. Okay, I'm actually going to get one more. Next steps. Okay, you got some bonus cards here. Okay, you've got the Two of Swords and the Five of Cups. That is, to me, kind of at a crossroads. I think at some point you will come to a crossroads and have to make some challenging decisions. But if you let these challenging decisions overwhelm you emotionally, if you let the crossroads kind of stay that way, you might feel disappointed or resent that you didn't make certain decisions earlier. And you might kind of stay stuck in this energy of disappointment or even loss. For some reason, I'm coming back to the beginning of this loss and risks with this gambler in reverse. That's kind of the feeling that I'm getting here, where there's a decision to be made and you don't really know what the outcome's going to be. So there's a fear of making a decision, and then, you may be losing the opportunity or the chance to do something you've always wanted to do. Or fear of loss here, of if I make decision, then that means that I'm going to lose something in that process. Four of Pentacles in reverse and the Hierophant in the upright. I feel like part of your next steps is to make the decisions based on logic and your intuition. What is your heart telling you to do? And then with the Four of Pentacles, releasing any rigidity on what you think it should be or should look like. That seems to be a little bit of a theme tonight. But also, this Four of Pentacles can be a little bit of a gambling card, especially in its reverse form. Because in the upright form, you can see this person is putting a penny away or a coin away for a rainy day. They've saved up a good amount of money here. But in the reverse, it's like there's a spending happening. There's a release of that kind of pent-up money or that saved money. But that doesn't necessarily have to mean money. This can be your time of investing your time wisely, investing your money wisely. Not blindly, wisely. So even though you might not know where a decision will take you, you have to trust that if you need to make a different decision or adjust, adapt, correct, that you will along the way. To not keep yourself stuck in, I can't follow this, because you're afraid of loss. You're fearing that vulnerability. So to me, this is taking the correct steps to invest wisely, to invest with your heart, to let your values lead. And the Hierophant is trusting what you've learned, trusting what you will learn, and also having some structure in place. So it's not about just investing your time and money wisely and hoping it kind of works out, but is there a structure that you can put into place that can help you either make these decisions wisely or to determine when you need to make a new decision? You may need to reference some kind of counsel. So that could be somebody that has experience or knowledge in this particular thing that you're experiencing with your business, especially if it relates to a financial loss and you're not really sure how to move forward with it. And bottom of the deck energy, we have the Empress in reverse. So this might not be a time to build the business or expand the business. I feel like this is a time to get your footing again, because there are some significant changes happening just based on your current business energy. And if you make a decision from this reactive place, then it could potentially throw you off track, which is why it's asking you to not, or why it wants to not be something built on impulsivity or too much risk, right? We have both sides of that pendulum there. And then, it also wants to be supportive, but there's a feeling like it can't right now. And I'm not sure if that's because of something you're dealing with personally that needs to be resolved, or something that needs to be done to correct some financial loss, or something to do with finances there, or maybe a complete shift in direction is required. I'm not sure. But this is a time to really reflect on your values, your business values, maybe even your purpose, and the things that will help you nurture yourself at this time, but also nurture the new vision for your business, or the bigger vision for your business. So this is really caring for yourself first and foremost, and building foundations or creating foundations that are really going to support this business moving forward. So this Empress, I always like to think of her as a garden, and when she's in reverse, there's nothing but weeds and dry soil. So if you plant in that soil, nothing's going to come of it. So you have to start to nourish the garden. You have to pull the weeds. You have to create the right environment for the business, or for the flowers or fruit or vegetables to grow. But it doesn't just start and stop with the planting or preparing the soil. It is a constant nurturing of that. Again, which is why I think the King of Wands is so important, is because everything will be driven by this vision, by the purpose and the mission that you are being driven by, and all of your intention and efforts that go behind that. But right now, I feel like there's a restructuring and a firming up of the foundations here, a nurturing of the soil for one reason or another. So I don't think this is a time to really make too many decisions. Final cards to end your reading. Reading 3. Strongest for reading 3, please. Okay. Navigating by the stars, follow your bliss. So even when the path is unclear, again, coming back to that 2 of Swords, so long as it's balanced with logic and truth, logic and truth could be it, but logic and intuition of what you know internally, then it's okay that you can't necessarily see the path. You have to navigate by your own internal compass at this time, because things could be a little dark. Things could be quite challenging, but you have to trust your inner knowing, go slow, And then we have joy and delight. Open your heart to joy, which I think that's where you're headed. And that is sort of something to keep in mind along this journey, is to continue to follow the things that light you up, that really you feel called to follow, and to also take time to care for yourself, to enjoy the pleasures of life. Even if you're not reaching the success that you would like at this time, or your business isn't what it needs to be at this time, this is about pacing yourself. And I think that joy and delight is going to help with tilling the soil and bringing some new energy back in. That pleasure is going to help refuel you and to maybe inspire a new way forward. So these are the messages I have for you, My Dear Soul Path 3. I hope they were helpful. Let me know in the comments if they were. And if you would like a more specific reading for the spirit of your business, the link to book is in the description box. Until we meet again, stay curious, and I'll see you soon.